behalf of the choir, Maharaj, welcome to our center. Uh, Before I go into the choir program for today, I have a very important announcement to make, and that is our e-magazine has been launched. This e-magazine was started by the inspiration from, we got the inspiration for the e-magazine from Swami Kripanand Maharaji from Toronto and Ishatmanandaji Maharaj from Chicago. They were very impressed with the artwork and the literary work of our kids and wanted to have a permanent place in our website, and that is why we started it. And I I must, before I hand over for the details to Shubhashish, I must thank four people whose tireless effort and hard work and very efficiently completing everything that made it possible. And that is Oyon Pal and Sanjeev Banu. Shubhashish, of course, was the one who was guiding them through all of this and doing it. And constant support from Shudipto. Please let us give a big round of applause for all of them. And now I will hand over the microphone to Shubhashish so he can guide all of you how to navigate to the website, to that site in our website. And I sincerely request all of you to share that with your friends and family, particularly those in India. I am sure they will be thrilled to see how our kids are doing and learning this, participating in this spiritual kind of activities. Along with that, right now it is still only displays the youth activities, but going forward, anybody, not just the youth, anybody who visits any of the Ramakrishna Mission centers around the world in India or is doing any kind of activity related with Ramakrishna Mission, please come forward and submit your work, drawing or writing, and we will be happy to publish it in the e-magazine. Okay, over to Shubhashish.
Thank you, Duladi. Namaskar Thakur ke pranam janiye. Let me show you the website of VVCC. First, I'll show you the navigation. Shudipto has added a new menu to our website. You'll see this was not there yesterday. On top, we have got a menu called e-magazine. This is how you go into the magazine. This currently has all the contributions from the youth choir, the people who are standing in front of us, this youth team, and a larger youth team that is not here today. Along with the youth, even some of their parents and the adults have contributed. They have contributed with their pictures, their drawings, and their thought about each event. Like today, we are doing Swami Vivekananda's life. So there are some thoughts about Vivekananda which the kids have captured. They have written something, and we have taken all of that and collected that into an e-magazine. Now let me take you to the site. So you are already in the e-magazine site. Let me start from the beginning. One second, give me a second. I just go out. So we come like this, e-magazine. You'll see that we have a landing page, and below the landing page, you will see there are icons. So far we got contributions from the youth, which is the youth choir team and their parents and some of the adults. So we had contributions on 4 events that we have uploaded. And then we had a unique article. One of the youth choir member was traveling to India. He met Swami Divyanandaji Maharaj. So he captured that conversation like an essay and he uploaded it. So this is what we have as of today. But we want to make sure that we have enough contents and we are going to maintain this every month. We want some addition. That's why I'm requesting all of you, please contribute. Whatever you have to write, any experience from Ramakrishna Mission or Vedanta Society or any interaction with the Maharajas, any good thoughts, please share this. Now let me open one of the icons, which is the latest one. We celebrated Ma Sarada's birthday recently in December. So you will see that we have a little bit of a narrative about the event. what happened in December on 15th of December. There was special celebration. We performed puja. Swami Ishwanandaji came from Chicago. He performed the puja. Followed by that, we had divine songs. Like today, we are having divine songs. And then the youth choir presented a topic about Ma Sharoda. And then we captured some of the pictures of the event, what happened on that day. And then you'll see below that, we have all the youth choir's contribution. So somebody visualized Ma Sarada, Sohini Sengupta, now she's an adult choir member. She drew a beautiful picture, visualizing Ma Sharoda, and she had a message about Ma Sharoda, sitting on lotus, symbolizing purity, spiritual. So these are the feelings that they share with us, and these are the pictures we take from them, and these have been now uploaded in our e-magazine. Prithadi is our senior member. Prithadi drew a picture before she went to India. She quickly did a Ma Sharoda picture and sent it to us. So you'll find all the contributions from the youth choir and adult choir, along with the thought being captured here. Now, we don't have too many because we didn't get pictures on drawings on every event. Like on our foundation day, we had some drawings and we had some good pictures on the foundation day. So we performed the puja on the foundation day, followed by there was a food festival. So there was a big food drive where all of our VVCC members, they cooked food at home. They brought it here and they served. And we sold the food. And there were some donations that we were able to gather from that food festival on that day. And then on that day, the youth choir presented. And in their presentation, they drew so many good pictures. And every picture has a thought. So I'm not going to take all of your time. We're already running late today. But I'll request all of you, please go to our website, read through this, and encourage the youth choir, the adult choir. And it's not just the choir. All of you sitting here can contribute. So we are looking forward to your blessings and encouragement to make this a more successful way of communicating about Thakur and Swamiji. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubhashish. So before I go to the choir program, the big impetus for this came from Swami Shrabhadevanandaji and Swami Atmagananandaji Maharaj. They also congratulated all the people who were involved in creating and launching this e-magazine, and hope this will continue to flourish just like the choir programs. Regarding today's choir, this is kind of a repetition of a program that we did before, Life and Work of Swami Vivekananda Part 2. In Part 1, we talked in details about the life of Swamiji, chronological phases of his life, as well as what he did in each phase. Today's program is more on details of some of his aspects of his life, and hope you will all enjoy.
A composer and singer.
Hold on. I'll tell you.
A composer and singer, Swami Vivekananda was very proficient in music. Not just in singing, he could play many musical instruments too. At a very early age, Narendra, his childhood name, became an expert in singing different kinds of songs, including Dhrupad, Khyal, Kirtans, and Bhajans. He had a beautiful voice that enraptured the audience. His guru, Thakur Sri Ramakrishna, was especially fond of his songs and often would be immersed into samadhi while listening to them. Many of these songs were composed and set to tune by Narendra himself. These included songs in Sanskrit, Bengali, and Hindi. Hymns like Khandana Bhava Bandhana, Om Hring Hritam in Sanskrit are sang for Arati every day at all Ramakrishna mission centers around the world. Today, we will begin our program with a song composed by Swamiji.
Naradeva Deva Jaya Jaya Naradeva 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 Shakti Samudra Samudra Tarangam Darshita Prema Vishrimritarangam Shakti Samudra Samudra Tarangam Darshita Prema Vishrimritarangam Samshayanakshasanashamahasram Samshayanakshasanashamahasram Yami Guru Sharanam Bhagavatam Yami Guru Sharanam Bhagavatam Naradeva Deva Jaya Jaya Naradeva Adaya Tata Samahita Chitam Prajala Bhakti Pata Prita Vritam Adaya Tata Samahita Chitam Prajala Bhakti Pata Prita Vritam Karma Kale Vara Adbhuta Chesham Karma Kale Vara Adbhuta Chesham Yami Guru Sharanam Bhagavatam Yami Guru Sharanam Bhagavatam Naradeva Deva Jaya Jaya Naradeva Naradeva Deva Jaya Jaya Naradeva Naradeva Deva Jaya Jaya Naradeva Naradeva Deva Jaya Jaya Naradeva.
Swamiji as a poet. Besides being a great orator and music composer, Swamiji was equally competent in writing poems in English, Bengali, and Sanskrit. Swami Vivekananda wrote 33 poems, including 2 translations. We are now going to recite to you some of these poems.
The Rudra Prayer. Swamiji wrote this as a prayer to Rudra, the most fearful aspect of Shiva, the supreme god himself. From the unreal, lead us to the real. From darkness, lead us unto light. From death, lead us to immortality. Reach us through and through ourselves, and evermore protect us, O thou terrible, from ignorance by thy sweet compassionate face. O blessed. This poetry is a selection from works of Swami Vivekananda, and was written to Miss Alberta Students from Paris, Brittany, France on September 22, 1900. The Mother's The mother's heart, the hero's will, the softest flowers, sweetest feel, the triumphant force that ever sway, the altar fire's flaming play, the strength that leads and love obeys, far-reaching dreams and patient ways, eternal faith in self and all, the divine light in great and small. All these and more than I could see, today may Mother grant to thee.
Thy love I. Swamiji wrote this from the point of view of Krishna himself. He expresses that nothing, no knowledge, no science, but love alone can bring the Lord to our hearts. Thy knowledge, man, I value not. It is thy love I fear. It is thy love that shakes my throne, brings God to human tears. For love, behold the Lord for all, the formless, ever free, is made to take the human form to play and live with thee. What learning they of Vrinda's grooves, the herdsmen ever got? What signs, girls that meet the kind they loved, and me they bought.
The Living God, written to an American friend from Almora, July 9th, 1897. He who is in you and outside you, who works through all hands, who walks in all feet, whose body are all ye, him worship and break all other idols. He who is at once the high and low, the sinner and the saint, both God and worm, him worship, visible, knowable, real, omnipresent. Break all other idols, in whom is neither past life, nor future birth, nor death, in whom we always have been, and always shall be one. Him worship, break all other idols. Ye fools, who neglect the living God, and his infinite reflections with which the world is full, while ye run after imaginary shadows that lead alone to fights and quarrels. Him worship, the only visible. Break all other idols.
Love for his mother. Like many great men in this world, Swami Vivekananda too had a special relationship with his mother, Bhuvaneshwari Devi. She was an exceptional woman, a strong and pious woman who spent a lot of time every day in praying and in spiritual practices. It is said that before Narendra was born, one night she had a vivid dream that Lord Shiva has aroused himself out of his transcendent meditation in taking the form of a male child who was to be her own son. She woke up and kept thinking, could this ocean of light in which she found herself bathed be only a dream? From the innermost soul of Bhuvaneshwari Devi, a joyous prayer welled up, for she was confident that her long months of expectancy were over, and that the dream was an announcement that her prayers were to be answered. Her faith was justified, for in due time her son was born, and that son was Narendra.
বলো গো ঠাকুর, বলো না আমারে, আনিলে কারে সাথে তোমার, ব্রহ্মতে দীপ্ত আনন পুরুষ সিংহকে তোমার, আনিলে কারে সাথে তোমার, বলো গো ঠাকুর, বলো না আমারে, আনিলে কারে সাথে তোমার। বীরেশ্বর অমিত বীর্য সুর সেনাপতি যিনি আশৌর্য। বীরেশ্বর অমিত বীর্য সুর সেনাপতি যিনি আশৌর্য। জ্ঞানে গরিয়ান তাপস প্রধান, জ্ঞানে গরিয়ান তাপস প্রধান। প্রেমে ভাসমান নয়ন তার, বল গো ঠাকুর বল না আমারে, আনিলে কারে সাথে তোমার। জ্ঞানে ত্যাগে সুখে প্রেমেতে নালো, বুদ্ধের মতো হৃদয় যার। জ্ঞানে শিব গুরু শঙ্কর সম, জ্ঞানে শিব গুরু শঙ্কর সম। সে কেন লুটায় পদে তোমার, ওঙ্কারে যার কাঁপে ত্রিভুবন। সে কেন মাগিছে তোমারি শরণ, ওঙ্কারে যার কাঁপে ত্রিভুবন। সে কেন মাগিছে তোমারি শরণ, তোমারি আশিস করিয়া ধারণ। সে কি গো ধরিবে ধরার ভার, তোমারি আশিস করিয়া ধারণ। সে কি গো হরিবে ধরার ভার। বল গো ঠাকুর বল না আমারে, আনিলে কারে সাথে তোমার। ব্রহ্ম তেজ দীপ্ত আনন্দ পুরুষ সিংহ কে কুমার, আনিলে কারে সাথে তোমার। বল গো ঠাকুর বল না আমারে, আনিলে কারে সাথে তোমার।
Bhuvaneswari Devi's religious and writer's temperament highly influenced Narendra, and he later wrote, "I am indebted to my mother for the effluence of my knowledge." After the sudden death of her husband, when her oldest son Narendra was barely 20, Bhuvaneswari Devi had to face enormous struggles and calamities. She was cheated of her rightful property by relatives that resulted in long and protracted court battles. She and her family were illegally evicted from her home, and they had to live with their mother in what Swamiji later called a hovel. She was financially in very poor condition, and as she continued for a larger part of her life to struggle with the court cases and property disputes. Yet through all these, Bhuvaneswari Devi remained patient and calm, and maintained her dignity, strength, piety, and righteousness, while performing her duties with a steady mind. Bhuvaneswari Devi always counseled her children to be helpful, dignified, brave, and humane. In their developing minds, she imprinted eternal values of healthy living, truthfulness, as well as having strength of mind. Once, Narendra was unfairly punished by a school teacher without justification. When Narendra told his mother about it, she consoled him. "If you are right, my boy, what does it matter? It may be unjust and unpleasant, but do what you think right, come what may." Swamiji remembered and followed this throughout his life. Whenever he suffered or was misunderstood, even by those nearest and dearest to him, when he adopted a course which to them seemed strange, but in his opinion it was right, He stuck to his gun and did not give up.
Okay, 1 second. Arjun, can you go and stand there? Otherwise, I can see you. Oh. Yeah, just move forward. Akshay, move to. I need to see him. No, you need to see him. Thank you. Sorry. Neil.
Swami Vivekananda was deeply devoted to his mother throughout his life. In a letter to a friend, he once wrote, "If there is any being I love in the whole world, it is my mother." Even though he had renounced the world and was spending all his time in Sri Ramakrishna's work, he always thought about his mother's condition. As a sannyasin, he did not care at all about his own comfort or care, and endured extreme hardship, but he constantly worried about the welfare of his mother. In 1898, in his letter to Ajit Singh of Khetri, he requested financial help to build a house for his mother. The letter goes like this: I have one great sin rankling always in my breast, and that is in order to do a service to the world. I have sadly neglected my mother. Again, since my second brother has gone away, she has become awfully worn out with grief. Now, my last desire is to make seva, give service, and serve my mother for some years at least. I want to live with my mother and get my younger brother married to prevent extinction of the family. This will certainly smoothen out my last days as well as those of my mother. She lives now in a hovel. I want to build a little, decent home for her and make some provision for the youngest, as there is very little hope of his being a good earning man. Is it too much for a royal descendant of Ramchandra to do for one he loves and calls his friend? I do not know whom else to appeal to. The money I got from Europe was for the work, and every penny almost has been given over to that work. Nor can I beg of others for help for my own self. About my own family affairs, I have exposed myself to your highness, and none else shall know of it. I am tired, heartsick, and dying. Do, I pray, this last great work of kindness to me, befitting your great and generous nature, and as a crest to the numerous kindnesses you have shown me. And as your highness will make my last days smooth and easy, may he, whom I have tried to serve all my life, ever shower his choicest blessings on you and yours. Whenever Swamiji was in Calcutta, he would often visit his mother and try to solve her family affairs as best as he could. He performed pujas at his mother's house. He tried to fulfill all her spiritual wishes, like taking her to Kalighat in Kolkata to fulfill her old vow, and performed all the necessary rituals there. If for any reason he could not go down to see to her for a week or two, she would herself come down to Belur to see him. It is said that one morning, when Swamiji's mother came to see him, she went up to the veranda of the first story and cried aloud, "Pilu," Swamiji's childhood nickname, and her child came out of the room at once. The great Vivekananda was just like a teenaged son to his mother. He descended the stairs along with Bhuvaneshwari Devi, and then they walked in the garden path together and conversed softly on personal matters.
In 1900, 2 years before he passed away, Swamiji wrote in a letter from America, "As for my mother, I am going back to her. For my last days and hers, all my life I have been a torture to my poor mother. Her whole life has been one of continuous misery. If it be possible, my last attempt should be to make her a little happy. I have planned it all out. Swamiji returned to India in 1900 with his health taking a turn for the worse. Despite his bad health, he took his mother on a pilgrimage to many places in East Bengal in 1901, just to fulfill her desire to go on a pilgrimage with him. Swamiji and food. Swamiji's father was a warrior, and he grew up in a well-to-do family in North Kolkata. His father's family was non-vegetarian. So, from his childhood, Shamiji ate lots of fish and mutton and loved eating them. As a child, he loved eating kotori shobji, which used to be sold near his house. As per the accounts of one of his disciples, Shami Ashokananda, Vivekananda loved to relish fried potatoes, which he used to cook with butter and curry powder. He loved sweet soup. Legend goes that the ubiquitous Kolkata Rasgulla had brought the two great thinkers of 19th century Bengal, Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, together. In a book by author Shankar titled Ahare Anahare Vivekananda, he mentions that Vivekananda had two weaknesses, tea and nicotine.
Swamiji loved to cook and feed others. In Archana Ajana Vivekananda as man, author Sankar mentions that as a youth, Vivekananda used to run a greedy club and researched extensively on cooking. Adding to this, he also bought many books on French cooking and developed new dishes, one of them being khichdi, cooked with eggs, peas, and potatoes. Later in his life, he would often take great pleasure in cooking pulao, khichdi, and different desserts with ghee and sugar, and feed it to all his fellow Bhakta brothers and disciples.
Despite growing up with all kinds of comfort food and a sumptuous diet, as a youth, Swamiji had to often starve after his father's death. The family was immersed in a quagmire of legal battles for family disputes about property. Despite being well educated and trying hard, Narendra was unable to find any job. They went through a acute financial crisis in those days, and many days there were not enough food to be put on the table for his mother and younger siblings. On such days, Swamiji would often lie to his mom, saying that he is not hungry and starve to ensure that she and the siblings could eat whatever food they had that day. Even as a sannyasi, Swamiji and his brethren would often resort to fasting and frugal meals. In the early days, at the ashram in Baranagar, in North Kolkata, they did not have enough funds to buy clothes or food. Records show that often they would have a sparse meal of rice, salt, and chilies together, and not even use separate plates to save cost.
Life as a roving sannyasin in India was also difficult. In a speech in California, Swami Vivekananda said how he went hungry for days on end and even encountered death-like situations. Then he would rest his tired body under the shade of a tree and felt that he would pass out from going hungry for days together and felt wait together. I would hardly be able to speak, leave alone think. Then I would pray to the Almighty to protect me, and then I would gather strength to raise myself. This is why I am still alive, he said.
জয় বীরেশ্বর বিবেক ভাস্কর জয় জয় শ্রী বিবেকানন্দ জয় বীরেশ্বর বিবেক ভাস্কর জয় জয় শ্রী বিবেকানন্দ হিন্দু নিভানন সুন্দর লোচন হিন্দু নিভানন সুন্দর
সমানব চিরবন্ধু। জয় বীরেশ্বর বিবেক ভাস্কর, জয় জয় শ্রী বিবেকানন্দ। প্রেম ঢালো ঢালো কান্তি সুবিমল, অধিগত বেদ বেদান্ত, ত্যাগ তিতিক্ষা তপস্যায় চর, চিত্ত নির্মল শান্ত। জয় বীরেশ্বর বিবেক ভাস্কর, জয় জয় শ্রী বিবেকানন্দ। কর্ম ক্ষতি ত্রিশূল ধারণ, ছেদন জীব মোহবন্ধ, ব্রহ্মপরায়ণ নমো নারায়ণ, দেহি দেহি চরণারবিন্দু। জয় বীরেশ্বর বিবেক ভাস্কর, জয় জয় শ্রী বিবেকানন্দ। জয় জয় শ্রী বিবেকানন্দ, জয় জয় শ্রী বিবেকানন্দ।
When Vivekananda traveled abroad, he observed the eating habits and cultures of foreign lands. However, he sometimes cooked for his hosts and followers using Indian ingredients. Further, he found substitutes to dishes that he adored, like hilsa, a species of fish popular in West Bengal. He discovered a fish that was liked on the east coast of USA as much as hilsa was liked in Bengal. In a letter to his companions in Calcutta, he wrote, "These days you get hilsa in abundance, and one can eat to one's fill. They use a variety of spinach which tastes like note, and what they call asparagus tastes like the young stalk of dingo." He used to sprinkle Tabasco sauce on his food and also encourage his Western friends to eat deadly green chilies, which he relished. He would teach his American disciples how to use Indian spices in their food.
Miss Hansbrough in 1900 wrote about Swamiji's day in Los Angeles as her house guest. She narrates how he would begin his breakfast with a fruit, orange or grapefruit. He liked to have 2 poached eggs. This would be followed by 2 slices of toast and 2 cups of coffee with cream and sugar. After breakfast, he would usually stroll in the garden or browse books in the library. He would smoke after breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dinner, served at around 6:30 p.m., would comprise of soup, fish, or meat, followed by a dessert which he loved. He would often help in the kitchen and make vegetables and chapatis. He never had his dinner before his lectures, as that would slow down his thought process. He was very fond of ice cream, and his followers have narrated accounts of him waiting excitedly for ice cream post-dinner with childlike eagerness.
In later life, he is known to have taken a U-turn in his culinary likes and dislikes. An avid meat lover in his youth, Swamiji is known to have opted for fish, dal, rice, green leafy vegetables, milk, and puffed rice to maintain a healthy diet later in life. In the book, Diary of a Disciple, he is quoted as offering the following advice to his disciple: "It is not good to take too much fatty or oily substance. Roti is better than luchi. Luchi is the food of the sick. Take fish and meat and fresh vegetables, but sweets sparingly." Nevertheless, he had a very liberal vision.
Put it, face it.
Nevertheless, he had a very liberal vision about diet. He said, about vegetarian diet, I have to say this. First, my master was a vegetarian, but if he was given meat offered to the goddess, he used to hold it up to his head. The taking of life is undoubtedly sinful, but so long as vegetable food is not made suitable to the human system through process in chemistry, there is no other alternative but meat eating. In the same statement, Vivekananda further adds, but the forcing of vegetarianism upon those who have to earn their bread by laboring day and night is one of the causes of the loss of our national freedom. Japan is an example of what good and nourishing food can do.
He believed that we leave everybody free to know, select, and follow whatever suits and helps him. Thus, for example, eating meat may help one, eating fruit another. Each is welcome to its own peculiarity, but he has no right to criticize the conduct of others, because that would, if followed by him, injure him, much less to insist that others should follow his way.
He dreamt of a life free of hunger for his brethren and followers, when none would go without food and succor. He dreamt that one day, when the mission would be flush food food would overflow at the community kitchen, serving all humanity. On his birthday, let us all pay respect to this great saint by remembering his messages and following them in our life.
শুনে শিশু করুণানি ধান কহো আজি মম অনুমন কৃপা করি করো হে আশিস দান তবু কাজে যেন জীবন যায় বীর সেনাপতি বীর সেনাপতি বিবেকানন্দ ওই যে ডাকিছে আয় রে আয় আহ্বানে তার আপনা ভুলিয়া কত পাহাড় ছুটিয়া যায় বীর সেনাপতি বীর সেনাপতি। That concludes our program for today.
Please remain seated. We have an announcement. If you can kindly please be seated for the next few minutes. As you all know, with blessings of our Swamis, we plan to construct a rectory, which is Swami's residence with Swami Swahananda's dining hall. That will be coming up on the left side of our building where I stand. And it will stretch up to the entrance, side entrance we currently enter into the building. You would have already seen an appeal letter when we sent the year beginning greetings from Swamis, and also the rendering images, the visualizations of how the building will look like. And also you can see them displayed in our reception area today. And as you can expect, such a big capital expansion project, as you can see in the screen now, you will be seeing the estimated capital expansion cost is about $550,000. And it definitely, absolutely, that is, we need to raise the funding only from devotees like you, the entire amount. And our goal is to complete the construction of this building and inaugurate it for our VVCC 5th anniversary in September 2026. And as you all know, the purpose of this building is for visiting Swamis to stay, and also it will be having a dining lecture hall that will be named after Swami Swahananda. And at one point in time in the very near future, it will become a permanent residence for our permanent Swami also when we reach that stage. And we are working towards that. With blessings of Swami, we had come out with a pledge cum donation form that will be distributed in this hall. Now the volunteers will distribute. Kindly collect it. And there are 3 ways you can contribute. No amount is very small. Number 1 is you can make a one-time donation or pledge. You can mention when it is possible for you to pay. The second option is you can pledge or donate in installments at a frequency that will be convenient for you. The third option is you can also offer to provide a 5-year interest-free loan for an amount that you can, that is afford to do. As we speak, We are working with the town, Seymour town, in getting the permissions and soil engineering and the survey and all that it is going on. And we plan to complete this, assuming everything goes fine, in the next 90 days, make the required down payments, and kickstart the construction of this building sometime in April first week. As you can see in the letter we sent out during the New Year greetings, they had given about some 90 days, Swami Atmakyananda and Sarvadevananda Ji Maharaj. They mentioned, that is, we will get an indication and we have to get started with the construction sometime in April so that we shall be in a position to complete on time for inauguration during next September 2026. So as we said, that is kindly consider it is, as soon as possible, whenever you can fill it up, send it by mail. The more details are available in the form. Reach out for additional information, the contact, and we look forward to have the rectory built as soon as possible. And thank you all for your support. And with that, that is, I just want to. You have completed?
Yes, we are done.
Yeah, sure. And thanks a lot for the VVCC choir. It's an amazing journey over the last 3 years. Doladi would have expressed several times. You started with 5 people. Today we are seeing how many number of people are there. That is, it's great growth. And today they launched the e-magazine. That is, it's good. That's good. It becomes a very big presence in our website as we grow in VVCC. That's an amazing thing. And now I will briefly introduce our Swami. So,
Question.
Yeah.
We have an electronic copy of this form so that we can forward to others as well.
Yes, we will do that. Thank you very much for the suggestion. Yeah, thanks. Today, as we celebrate Swamiji's birthday Utsav, we are blessed to have Swami Prasanna Ji Maharaj for the very first time to our center. And Swami comes from a very comfortable climate to a very demanding that is weather here. And we want to welcome on behalf of VVCC Swami to our center, and also that is we would like to invite him that is in future as frequently as possible. I would like to give a brief introduction about Swami. Swami Prasannatmananda Ji Maharaj is a monk of Ramakrishna order and currently is the Swami in charge of Vedanta Society, Berkeley, California. Swami received his sannyasa vows in 1995 from the 12th president of the order, Revered Swami Bhuteshananda Ji Maharaj. Swami served in numerous centers of Ramakrishna order in various capacities, primarily in educational initiatives and research projects, as well as performed several administrative duties. To be specific, in India, Swami served at Ramakrishna Mission, Vidyamandira College, Ranchi, Morabadi, and at the Institute of Culture, Gold Park, Calcutta. Swami came to the United States in 2011 as Assistant Swami at the Berkeley Center and assumed its leadership in 2014. Swami conducts spiritual discourses and theological lectures on a regular basis and participates in invited talks, conferences, and interfaith seminars. Swami offers classes and lectures on a variety of philosophical topics, some of them at esteemed institutions, including Berkeley University of California, Dominican School of Religions, Pacific Schools of Religions, Stanford University, Parliament of World Religions, and so on. Swami was interviewed by several radio and TV programs by various channels like the Yoga Hour of Unity, Stanford 90.1 FM, and INDTV. Swami authored articles on Eastern philosophy and religion, such as Swami Vivekananda's views on Buddhist monasticism, role of spirituality of health, and the great woman in Hindu scriptures and Holy Mother. And there are several others that I just want to, for want of time, leave it here. And with this brief introduction, now I would like to request Swami to start his speech. Welcome, Maharaj.
মহারাজ আপনাদের সব ওকে ওয়েলকাম হ্যাঁ দাঁড়াও এদিকে তাকিয়ে Please come.
Yeah, you yes.
Stand there. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Wonderful.
No, I want on this table. Thank you.
नमस्ते यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चिद सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे It is a matter of great pleasure that I am at your midst in the Vivekananda Vedanta Center in Connecticut. Today, whole day, we are spending with different curriculum of spirituality, worship, different discussion about spirituality and especially Swami Vivekananda. It is 163 anniversary of Swami Vivekananda's birthday. Swami Vivekananda's message among the prophets of world is very special. There is none which is more meaningful to the modern men. It is not exaggeration. It is fact. Swami Vivekananda was in India and Swami Vivekananda visited in the United States. Swami Vivekananda felt a commitment to do something to fulfill his mission, which was given to him by none other than his Guru Sri Ramakrishna. That's why he said, I have a message to the West, as Buddha had a message to the East. Swamiji's sense of commitment came from his great love of mankind. Swami Vivekananda was not the armchair philosopher. He was meditative in nature, and Vedanta was his main subject matter to preach. Swami Vivekananda found very clearly that the problems of two countries are different. The problems of India mainly Swami Vivekananda preached in the United States. Swami Vivekananda lived 39 and a half years. Out of that, he preached as a world teacher for about 10 years. And out of these 10 years, 4 years he spent in the United States. So he found that the nature of problem is different between India and the United States. He found that India has a problem that is socio-economic. India is a poor country. So India's problem is socio-economic problem. Whereas the Western problem is not socio-economic because United States is an affluent country and it has a problem of existence. The very existence, which is called the existential problem. Existential problem in 1960s, 1860s, Kierkegaard developed a philosophy which is called existential philosophy. Existential problem is talking about the very nature of our existence. And it has different facets. It is not the economic problem. It concerns man's existence as an individual. Man has become a problem of himself. Inner emptiness, loneliness, anxiety. These are the existential problems. So Swami Vivekananda in the West solved this kind of problems. Stress. The difference between existential problem and stress is this. In stress, we can understand the cause of stress, which is called stressor. If we remove the stressor, then our stress problem can be solved. But in the existential problem, we cannot find the cause of our existence. The deep fear, that is the existential problem. So Swami Vivekananda addressed to solve the existential problem in the United States. And he addressed to solve the socio-economic problem in the East. But what are the solutions he actually suggests? He suggests the same Vedantic principle to solve the existential problem and to solve the socio-economic problem. He observed that in spite of advanced rational thinking and highly developed schools of philosophy, in Western culture, there was no clear conception of the true spiritual dimension of man or the ultimate reality. The materialistic orientation of life gave primacy to pleasure seeking, but this seeking never seemed to lead to true fulfillment and peace. Moreover, the industrialization had alienated man from his own creativity and had reduced him to the position to a machine. The cumulative effect of all these might erupt in the form of social unrest, organized violence, wars, etc. Materialism and all its miseries can never be conquered by materialism, observed Swami Vivekananda. According to Vedanta, man's true essence is the spirit. And until he realizes it, it can never have true fulfillment or peace. There are basic differences between the concept of these two countries, India and the West. The abroad, they have the philosophy of a man. The philosophy of man, according to the Western world, is dichotomous or dichotomous, means two, the body and mind. But according to the East, the philosophy of man, the personality of man is trichotomous, three. This is the basic difference. Body, mind, and beyond body mind, there is one which is eternal, which is spirit, soul, self-effulgent, self-proved. That is called Atman in Sanskrit. So this Atman concept is not there in the West. So body, mind, and Atman. These are three completely different entities that describe man, the philosophy of man, and the personality of man, according to the East. But according to the West, body, mind, the Holy Spirit is not equivalent to the soul or spirit or self or Atman. Holy Spirit acts as an external force when people are deflected. Holy Spirit, by the grace of God, enters into a person and bring him or her to the divine path. That is the function of Holy Spirit by the grace of God. But the spirit self or Atman, according to the Vedanta or according to the Indian concept, is self-effulgent, self-proved, eternal, or pervading. It was in ancient India that an understanding of the true self of man as pure awareness was gained. The Vedic sages called it Atman. It is the source of man's ceaseless quest for true happiness, perfection, freedom, and immortality. To understand, to experience. That is the main goal of man, according to the principle of Vedanta. For true happiness, perfection, freedom, and immortality. Further inquiry into the nature of Atman lead to the discovery that individual self is only a reflection of the infinite self, which is called Brahman. So individual self only the reflection or true image of Brahman. The equation of Atman and Brahman is the only one significant insights mankind has ever attained. So to realize, that is called spirituality, the journey, the attempt, the effort to understand this third entity, which is called self, spirit, or Atman. This journey, this effort, this process is called spirituality. And the skill that we practice, the technique that we practice to experience this third entity or Atman is called yoga. If the soul has a higher dimension known as Atman, why is it that all people do not experience it as such? The reason, according to Vedanta, is ignorance, which eclipses the Atman and makes it appear as ego or lower self. It is because of our ego which eclipses or cover the Atman. It is because of that we cannot realize this Atman. In other words, the awareness of the divinity of the soul is only potentially present in us. It is present, but we are not aware of that. We are not experiencing it directly. Some bookish knowledge, some indirect knowledge we have, but we do not have the direct knowledge of it. Indirect knowledge means, what does it mean by indirect knowledge? Indirect knowledge is if we have the knowledge from some other means. We have the knowledge of Atman through books. We have the knowledge of Atman by some information, by some teachings. So these are not direct knowledge. These are indirect knowledge because we are having those knowledge through somebody, through something. So that is why Swami Vivekananda said, each soul is potentially divine. Because we cannot have the direct knowledge of it. The huge, immense possibility of our soul, we don't know that. That is why he said it is potentially divine. In this way, he gave the larger philosophy of man. This statement of Swami Vivekananda, the man is potentially divine, is the unique philosophy of man. The goal is to manifest this divinity within. It is the ultimate goal. And this is the principle. The first point is it possible to realize this self or Atman? It is said yes. It is possible, it is practical, although it is transcendental, but still it is possible. Why it is transcendental? What is called it is transcendental? This knowledge is transcendental knowledge. Why?
Transforms us.
The knowledge that we can have through our five senses, all knowledge that we can have through five senses are the immanent knowledge, the knowledge of the world. But the knowledge which we can have through five senses is different from us. Just think. All knowledges that we can have through five senses, these are the only means we can have through our mind or intellect. Mind is also kind of senses, sixth sense. The knowledge we can have through five senses are different from us. So these knowledge are called objective knowledge because these are the object, different from us. The knowledge we can have not through these five senses, that is called transcendental knowledge. Not through our mind, not through our eyes, not through our ears, not through our skin, not through our tongue. Beyond these five senses, that knowledge is called transcendental knowledge. So transcendental knowledge is one with our being, not different from us. Objective knowledge is always different from us. That knowledge we can have through five senses. But the subjective knowledge is always with our being. It is not through our five senses. Now the question is it possible to get that knowledge, transcendental knowledge? Swami Vivekananda said, yes, it is practical or practicable. All religions of the world say that our philosophy, our religion can be applied into day-to-day life to solve the problem. All religions of the world. Christianity, Buddhism, Judaism, all religions of the world, they say that yes, our religion, the principles of our religion can be applied in day-to-day life and can be solved our day-to-day problems. But what is the difference? So, in that sense, all religions are practical religion. But Swami Vivekananda's practical religion is different from those practical religion in the sense because the principle that Swami Vivekananda propagated, the Vedantic principle, this transcendental experience of Atman, that can be realized. That is also practical. In this sense, Swami Vivekananda's practical religion is extremely special. Now, from this principle, Swami Vivekananda developed his philosophical edifice. From this principle, Swami Vivekananda developed a theory of ethics and morality. From this principle, Swami Vivekananda developed the theory of ignorance, or he called sin. From this principle, he developed the theory of alienation. This is the only theory. To realize this Atman, to go to this third entity, which is called Atman. The work that obstructs to realize this Atman is immoral work, according to Swamiji. The things you are doing, if that doesn't help to realize this Atman, those deeds are sin. The discussion, the things we are listening to, we are discussing don't help to realize that Atman. All are not religious work. From here, Swami Vivekananda developed the definition of religion. He said religion is realization. He emphasized the realization. Other religion, especially the Christianity, faced a tremendous challenge against scientific discoveries. But Swami Vivekananda said, this is science. He resolved the conflict between science and religion generalized his theory as science generalized the theory. What science does? Swami Vivekananda clearly described these things in his introduction to Raja Yoga. And he proved there that science is the generalization. What science does? Observe, experiment, small things, experience. Science is nothing but experience. And that experience, they generalize. It is because the same scientific truth is true for me, is true for you, true for everybody. So generalized this experience. That is what science is doing. So spirituality also, Swami Vivekananda generalized this spirituality. What Swamiji said, that is why Swami Vivekananda said, universal religion. Is it possible? universal religion, one religion for everybody? Is it possible? Swamiji said, yes, it is possible. The only one principle to realize that unfold. Realize your consciousness. Each and everybody has the same consciousness. To realize that consciousness, that should be the religion. That will be the universal religion. To realize your consciousness. No creed, no color, no religion, no region. Again he said, morality. Can universal ethics is possible? So everywhere. That is why he delivered talk in San Francisco. Can Vedanta be the universal religion? He delivered this talk in San Francisco. That is the one principle that Swami Vivekananda tried to deliver. That should be the basis. And he said the alienation. It is the alienation of our life from the divine center in us. He said, why we experience meaninglessness, why we experience fear. The more we will become alienated from the center, the more fear. What is the source of our courage? That is the source of our courage. That is the source of our everything. The more we go closer, the more we experience that, the more we understand that, that is the source of everything. If you go through Swami Vivekananda's complete works thoroughly, you can find that is the only message that Swami Vivekananda propagated. Everything, all the theories of Swami Vivekananda, based on this only one aspect. That is, try to realize that. Try to understand that. That is spirituality, that is religion, and he applied that. That is the source, that is the solution of eradicate poverty in India, he showed. The courage, the self-confidence, the freedom. These are the message Swami Vivekananda gave. The loneliness, anguish, unfulfillment, meaninglessness, boredom, which have become so common in modern society, these problems get solved as soon as a person realizes the outcome. All other temptations, all religions of the world said, the desire is the main problem. Buddhism says tanha, trishna is the main problem. Christianity, we find desire. In Hinduism, we find desire. Desire is the main problem. The more we focus towards this goal, the desire will go. This is the higher dimension of life. And to become desireless, we need courage, freedom. Everything will come from here. He cannot be regarded as having attained full humanity or manhood. The development of physical, mental, and spiritual dimensions of man is what Swami Vivekananda termed as man-making. Another problem that Swami Vivekananda noticed in the Western society was loss of faith in traditional religious doctrine. He said, first, a higher view of reality, which is in harmony with the discoveries of modern science. Second, principle of verifiability. The science has this quality, verifiability. Can you verify this? Yes. With regard to religious belief, Swami Vivekananda showed that the ancient system of Vedanta was in a position to satisfy both these demands. Verifiability and harmony with the discoveries of modern science. He said, is religion to justify itself by the discoveries of reason, through which every other science decides itself? Extremely important remarks. Is religion to justify itself by the through which every other science decides itself? Of investigation which we apply to science and knowledge outside be applied to the science of religion? In my opinion, Swamiji said, this must be so. And I am also of opinion that the sooner it is done, the better. The way we discover the scientific truth, the same method can be applied to discover the religious truth, according to Swamiji. And that is experience, coming from experience. Swamiji said, not in the outside, but within. Experience reflects outside. He gave the example in Jnana Yoga that Newton discovered gravitation. Where was the gravitation? Outside or inside? The incident happened outside. But the principles of gravitation sprang from Newton's within. So gravitational theory was in Newton's mind, within Newton. So all the experience, discoveries, scientific or spiritual, coming out from within. That internal experience, he highlighted that. We are common there. Religion and science are common. And those experiences are generalized. This realization of consciousness is generalized. Each and everyone has experienced this consciousness. And in understanding this consciousness is universal. There is no difference. As regards the verifiability principle, it is provided by the principle of aporoksha or direct experience, which is the very foundation on which Vedanta stands. Truths about the soul, God, and the mental universe were discovered by the ancient sages through direct experience. Like scientific experiments, these are repeatable experiences. Anybody, by following the appropriate techniques and fulfilling certain inner conditions, can have these experiences. It is, of course, true that this kind of direct experience was known to the so called mystics. But it is practicable. It was only in ancient India that proper techniques for the direct perception of spiritual truths were developed systematically to give rise to a scientific, to give rise to a science of consciousness known as yoga. Swami Vivekananda's exposition of the four yogas, Jnana, Bhakti, Raja, and Karma, has contributed a great deal to the present day understanding the popularity of yoga. Then the morality. I have already explained the morality, how the ethical theory Swami Vivekananda brought into general forum. There are differences between morality and ethics. Morality is a practice. Ethics is a study. So, in two ways he generalized morality and ethics. He discussed the huge important aspects of morality and ethics. And he generalized that, which was, why should we be moral? He asked. Why should we be moral? We have no other way to be moral. We must be moral because our real nature is moral. The Atman is pure. It is moral. So our real nature is moral. That is why we must be moral. Each and everybody who are sitting here, who doesn't like good, who doesn't like truth, who doesn't like beauty? Anybody of us? We all support good. We all support beauty. We all support truth. Whether we can practice it or not, that's a different thing. But we support it. We like it. Why? Not a single person here supports or like bad, untruth, ugly, none. Why? It is because our real nature is that. Our soul demands that. So it proves that these are our real nature. So ultimately, four things. Number one, a new image of man as potentially divine. A new concept of religion as realization. That is the unique contribution of Swami Vivekananda. Third. So first one is the new image of man as potentially divine. Second, a new conception of religion as realization. Third, a new moral philosophy of life, morality, ethics. Fourth, a new concept of religious harmony, universal religion. That is the universal religion. To experience ourselves. Religion is realization. The main thrust of his message was to provide a unifying vision of the immense possibility inherent in human soul. Unifying vision. What is unifying vision? Oneness of existence. This unifying vision. Everything is one. To provide unifying vision of the immense possibility inherent in human soul. Immense possibility, strength, immense strength. So when revered Swami Gambhiranandaji was the president of the Ramakrishna Order, he was the 11th president of the Ramakrishna Order. So when he was the president of the Ramakrishna Order, one day he called the brahmacharis of the training center. In Belur Math we have probationers training center. So all the brahmacharis have to go under this training courses. So he called the brahmacharis and said them to, please find the word abhi. Because Swami Vivekananda said, the only one word came out from the all Upanishads. And that word is abhi. Abhi means nirbhay, courage. Only word, one word, that is Swamiji's word. Only word came out from all the Upanishads, and that is abhi. Abhi means nirbhay. Nirbhay means courage. Please find out from all the Upanishads where it is. The brahmacharis from training center, they started, President Maharaj's order, so they started searching all the Upanishads, major and minor. But they could not find that word. It was not there. This word is not there. But Swamiji said, if you want to find the one word from Upanishad, that is abhi. So courage. This is the courage. The courage you can find from this self. Upanishad is propagating this idea of self. So self means courage. In that sense, Swami Vivekananda said. So courage means it is immortal. The fear that we are having always is the existential fear. In Bhagavad Gita, we find Arjuna's problem was the existential problem. Arjuna could not understand what is the problem, what is the source of the problem. So that is the fearlessness. Our self can give that. So for fearlessness, what is required? Another psychological security. If I have huge bank balance, huge stock, I will become fearless. If I know my health is very strong, I will become fearless. So something I must have, on the basis of that, I will become fearless. So what you have, the faith, the belief, the shraddha, unflinching conviction about your immortality of self. Self gives us immense strength that is there. When Girish Ghosh was kicked out from the society, the character of Girish Ghosh was terrific. He himself said that I haven't done any kind of bad work which exists in the society. So he did all kinds of work and he was kicked out from the society. But he said, I'm never afraid of anybody. I don't afraid of anything because I know Sri Ramakrishna is there. I don't care anybody because I know he is with me. This is the psychological strength, psychological security. A baby knows that my mother is there. When he or she just holds the corner cloth of his or her mother, he or she gets some psychological security. This is huge. If we have this kind of security, assurance, we will become fearless. Self will give us that security. Yes, the immortal self, immense power. So that is what he said, the immense possibility. That is the central message Swami Vivekananda delivered in the West. And this is the central message of Swami Vivekananda. I think we have a little bit question answer. No?
Yes.
Do you have any question? Oh,
We will distribute the mic and there's a little bubble. Oh, we have there. And people will stand up, tell their names and questions.
okay.
There's a little warm water.
Okay.
We can start here.
Yeah.
Namaste Swamiji, my name is Maya, and I wanted to ask if you could talk a little bit more on the topic you mentioned about the reality already being out there, like with Newton's theory of Drishti and Srishti. If you could just discuss that a little bit more, that would be very helpful.
Okay. So it is not Drishti Srishti. So Drishti Srishti is it is very closer to Descartes' rule. So Descartes' rule is also very closer to this, that if we think that, so thinking is important and think will reflect to the outside. But this is not that kind of thing. This is how scientific discoveries we find. Scientific discoveries, it is the mental play. Okay, so the external things, they gives us the stimulus. So we can take the information from the external world and we think, and the real solution comes out from within. So it is the mental work, mental experience. And so there are different types of small discoveries, and then scientific discoveries is generalized. Means it is true for you, it is true for him, it is true for me, it is true for everybody. So always scientific discoveries are general. It is universal for everybody. That is called scientific discoveries. So our spiritual experience, how it comes? It comes from within. It is the internal mechanism. So it comes from within. The problem was that the mystic theory also came from within, but it was not generalized. That is why Swami Vivekananda generalized this Vedantic principle. And that is why he always said the oneness of existence. Everything is one. If everything is one, there is no difference. That is the universal. So when a theory will becomes universal, that must be one. And if you see the Vedantic principle, everything is one. Truth is one. Brahman is one. And it can be proved that why Brahman is one, why truth is one, because only the transcendental aspect means it is beyond time, space, and causation. It is beyond time. It is beyond cause. So, and it is beyond space. So it is beyond, everything is beyond time, space, and causation. That is called truth. So that is why these Vedantic principles is in this context, the scientific discoveries and the spiritual discoveries are one. The spiritual discoveries are transcendental. In which sense it is transcendental? It is beyond time, space, and causation. And Swami Vivekananda described it very clearly in the introduction of Raja Yoga. Just introduction of Raja Yoga. Any question? Yes, please.
So, in the one consciousness, all the objects, body, mind, everything is appearing, and it's clearly mentioned.
It is very clearly, it is trichotomy. Indian concept, Eastern concept is trichotomous. Body, mind, and Atman. And Western concept is dichotomous or dichotomous. Body and mind.
So all there is just appearance. But on the Eastern tradition, we also talk about rebirth. So if it's all one, then Eastern tradition, why we are talking about Purvanjanma, rebirth?
Well, do you think, is there any rebirth which is called rebirth?
Maybe the atoms in my body will rebirth with something else.
So, if you are in the body consciousness, then you will accept rebirth. If you are in the body consciousness, then it is difficult to realize the self. So, a beautiful verse is there, given by Ramanuja. Atmo anubhavo jadrisho tat gunaivo purushartha pratiti. This is the verse. Atmo Anubhavo Jadrisha. Can you understand this? Atmo Anubhavo. Anubhava means experience. Atmo Anubhava means my experience about myself. Jadrisha. Atmo Anubhavo Jadrisha. My experience about myself is just like Tadrisha Gunaiva Purushartha Pratita. Exact in the same way, Tat Gunaiva, exactly in the same guna, etc., will be there. Purushartha Pratita. Absolute will reflect it. Your concept about your absolute depends upon your perception about yourself. If you think you are body, your absolute concept is not spirit, that must be another kind of body. Do you understand what I'm saying? This very famous person. So that is why in Jnana Swami Vivekananda said, if there is a God, cat's God, how it will be? In Jnana Swami said, cow's God, how it will be? It will be like cow. It will be like God, only a big and huge, multiplied different aspects. Why? Because they consider themselves as a cow. They consider themselves as a cat. As long as human being considers themselves as a human being, their God will be in an anthropomorphic form, not the spirit. So that's the point. If you consider you are in the body consciousness, you have to accept birth and rebirth. If you are in the spirit consciousness, there is no birth and rebirth. Yes. Any other questions? Yes, please.
Understand the mind and Atman, these two are different. But when I'm having some experience, so how do you distinguish that experience is my Atman or is in my mind?
Well, it is a very good question. You are talking about what is the proof of your spiritual experience.
Exactly. And what is in my mind?
It is very, in the scripture, it is very clearly stated. What is the litmus test? The litmus test is very simple. The spirituality means how you can understand that you are becoming spiritual. What is the test? The spirituality means the transformation. Unless there is any transformation of your vision, of your thought, of your behavior, we cannot consider there is any spiritual upliftment. Transformation. That you can, it is very clear. Swamiji said, spirituality can be given. Sri Ramakrishna gave literally as a fruit the spirituality to his disciples. So it can be seen. Everyone here can see the transformation of others. You can realize your transformation, everybody can realize your transformation. I can explain it in little detail. The point is this: we are sitting here, we know each other. We have an experience of others in my mind, and that is very solid. Our external changes cannot change that impression. We all know each other mentally, and that knowing is very strong. To change that impression is very difficult. Our external changing cannot change that thing. Exactly in the same way, when we spiritually transform, we can understand that, and the people outside can understand that. You understand? It proves itself. That is the point. So spirituality means the transformation. Transformation of consciousness from lower level to the higher level. It is a kind of evolution. Swami Ranganathanandaji gave this concept that we came from ape and super ape to the Homo sapiens. So this is a kind of physical evolution. So what about the mental and spiritual evolution? So we are human being, the sensual human being. Then what is the next evolution of our consciousness? We must be a rational human being. And then we will evolve to spiritual human being. This is the evolution of our consciousness from lower to higher. In Taittiriya Upanishad, it is very clearly written. There are 5 koshas, 5 seeds. The basic, it is just like Abraham Maslow's hierarchy ladder. The basic things is the Annamaya kosha, etc. Then the Pranamaya kosha, the energy level. Then the mental level, Monomaya kosha. Then the intellect level, Vijnanamaya kosha. And then the Anandamaya kosha. So this is a evolution. Our consciousness is connected with the lower level. That is Annamaya Pranamaya. Eating, drinking, and fun making. Then the higher level is the Monomaya level, aesthetic level, Pranamaya, the energetic level, workaholic. Then the mental level, the aesthetic, the poet, the artist. They don't bother about their drinking, their eating, their dresses, their party. They don't care. They like only music or poetry or some artistic thing, aesthetic things. These are the levels of evolution. Our consciousness is connected with the lower level. So we have to elevate our level, evolve our level higher and higher to the Anandamaya portion, to the blissful level. That is the fulfillment. I think I crossed the time. Anything? Or any question or quick question? I don't know.
We are good, Maharaj, sir.
One quick question on behalf of all of us. We are devotees working, traveling between maybe the lowest and the highest. How can you give us some suggestions that we can, as a group, raise ourselves? What practices and what guidance will be from you? Thank you.
I only point out those few things what Swamiji and Sri Ramakrishna said. All are from there. So you are doing this, a good association, sadhu sangha, a pious association you have. What more you think? All are talking about this group has the immense possibility, potential. So you are talking, thinking, working to the one goal in your mind, and that is spreading the words and preparing yourself as a fit instrument in the hand of Sri Ramakrishna. What more is required? That is the one goal you have. Through this, you can manifest your potentiality. Through this, you can do everything. One goal in mind, and this is that. This is universal oneness, and everything you can do with this. One goal in mind. If everybody has the one goal, that is how you can integrate, that is the integral yoga. Swami Vivekananda said karma yoga, bhakti yoga. He said either by one or by all the four yogas, you can get the goal. So how can you integrate all the yogas? These are not watertight compartments. Sometimes I am inclined to karma yoga, sometimes I am inclined to bhakti yoga, sometimes inclined to jnana yoga. How can we integrate those? How can we do that? And if I do sometimes, at some point of time, these things, some point of time, these things, I will become aimless. So here is the unity, some oneness must be there. How you can integrate these four yogas, or how you can fix your mind to one point. This is the thing. One point is preparing yourself as the fit instrument in the hand of Sri Ramakrishna and propagating his words. This is the one-pointed goal. And you all are working through karma, through jnana, through bhakti, through yoga. The ultimate goal is this. You can apply all these four yogas. Here it united. Here it is united. This is the point of convergence. Thank you. Thank you for your
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for coming over and celebrating Swamiji's birthday this year with us. And we look forward to seeing you again and again. Thank you.